So, let's talk about a threat that could literally reset modern civilization. We're not talking about an asteroid or some new pandemic. We're talking about a massive, powerful blast from our very own sun, a solar storm. And the scary part? It's happened before and it is absolutely guaranteed to happen again. All right, let's get into it.
To really understand what's at stake here, we have to start with the numbers. And believe me, they are staggering.
So check this out. 40 million. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, that's how many Americans could be plunged into darkness, not for a few hours, but potentially for months, or get this, even years after a major solar storm hits.
And the cost, Lloyd's of London estimates a single really bad solar event could cost the global economy over $9 trillion. To put that into perspective, that's like instantly wiping out almost 1.5% of the entire world's economic output. Gone. And this number? 4 years. That's the potential wait time. The time it could take to manufacture and replace just one of the thousands of critical components that would be completely fried across our power grid. 4 years. And this is really the key takeaway, right? This isn't some made-up disaster movie plot. This is a documented, historical reality of living next to an active star. It's real.
To really get a handle on the risk we're facing now, we actually have to go back in time. Back to a time when our electrical world was really just a baby. Let's talk about the year 1859.
So, in 1859, the most powerful solar storm in recorded history, known as the Carrington Event, just slammed into Earth. A huge blast of plasma from the sun rocketed across 93 million miles and hit us in a record 17.6 hours. I mean, usually that journey takes days. This thing was an absolute speed demon.
This storm was so powerful, it basically supercharged Earth's magnetic field. It created these incredible auroras that were visible almost down to the equator. Can you imagine seeing the northern lights from Hawaii or Cuba? It was so bright that gold miners in the Rockies woke up at 1 in the morning and started making breakfast, thinking the sun was up. People could literally read the newspaper just by the light of the aurora. It was beautiful, for sure, but also deeply weird.
But here's what it did to the cutting-edge technology of the day: the telegraph. The storm pumped so much raw electricity into the wires that operators actually disconnected their batteries and kept sending messages for hours using only the power from the aurora itself. Telegraph poles were throwing off sparks. Some stations even caught on fire. It was wild.
Okay, so the Carrington Event hit a world of pretty simple wires. But what happens when a storm of that same magnitude hits our world? A planet that's not just interconnected, but completely, totally dependent on electricity for everything.
Well, the main danger comes from something with a pretty sci-fi name: geomagnetically induced currents, or GICs for short. The easiest way to think about it is this. The solar storm drags a giant, invisible magnet across the Earth, and as it moves, it creates these massive, uncontrollable electrical currents that surge right into our power lines, looking for somewhere to go. And this chart right here really shows you the heart of the problem. It's a massive mismatch. Back in 1989, a much, much weaker storm took out Quebec's entire power grid in just 92 seconds. 92 seconds to cause a blackout. But as we've seen, it can take up to 4 years to build a single replacement for the critical hardware that would be destroyed. It's a race we just can't win.
So that brings us to the grid's weakest link. It's Achilles' heel, these massive high-voltage transformers. These things are not sitting on a shelf at your local hardware store. They're custom-built behemoths. They can weigh up to 400 tons, cost millions of dollars apiece, and take, years to manufacture. And here's the real kicker: we have basically no strategic stockpile. None.
Now, I want to be really clear. This is not some historical what-if. This is a clear and present danger. Because right now, as we speak, the sun is waking up and entering a period of really intense activity. We're in what scientists call solar cycle 25 right now. And the thing you need to know is that the sun's activity, which they measure in sunspots, has been consistently blowing past all the official predictions. It means the sun is far more active and, frankly, far more unpredictable than the experts told us it was going to be. And we are seeing the results of this firsthand. Just in early 2024, the sun unleashed a whole barrage of what are called X-class flares. That's the most powerful kind there is. Forecasters are now on high alert, saying more big flares are very likely. Our star is definitely getting feisty. So let's just put all the pieces together, right? We have a powerful historical precedent, the Carrington event. We have a very clearly defined technological vulnerability in our power grid, and we have a sun that is right now in a very active and volatile phase. So what does that all mean for us?
Well, here's something that's so important to understand. Unlike a hurricane or an earthquake, which are terrible but localized disasters, an extreme solar storm is a planetary event. It hits everyone, everywhere, all at the same time. There would be no international aid flying in, no cavalry coming to the rescue, because everyone would be in the exact same boat.
Now, scientists have actually run the numbers on this risk, and what they came up with is, well, it's pretty sobering. They estimate there's a 12% chance of a Carrington-level event happening in the next decade. A 12% chance. That's roughly a 1 in 8 shot of a multi-trillion-dollar catastrophe that could knock out the very foundations of our civilization. We are taking a massive, massive gamble.
And that really brings us to the final, unavoidable question. When you look at the stakes, when you consider our total dependence on this fragile technology and our current, pretty shocking lack of preparedness, you realize the real question isn't if this is going to happen again, it's when. And looking at all this, you really have to ask, are we ready?